In my experience, the small, out-of-the-way border crossings between Canada and the United States suffered from a multiple personality disorder. Most often the officer would ask a couple of questions, where you from, where you going, and send you on your way. Sometimes they would ask about the motorcycle and your travels, just to be friendly, or if they were a little curious. However, on rare occasions, the underemployed customs officers in these little nowhere places seemed to go a little psycho and decide to make a federal case out of it. From Waterton Lakes National Park, I was planning to visit Glacier National Park, just over the border in Montana, the other part of what was touted as the Waterton Glacier International Peace Park. But as I looked over the map, I noticed that Fernie, British Columbia, where my friend and fellow Russian Alex was born, was just to the west. Wouldn't it be fun to send him a postcard from there? It was only about 500 miles out of my way, a mere scenic diversion, and offered a southerly route back into the Rockies I'd never traveled before, over the Crow's Nest Pass. From there, I could follow the meanderings of Highway 3 to the euphoniously named Yaak, across the border into Idaho, and make my way east again to Glacier. The Idaho Panhandle was a somewhat infamous corner of the United States, where survivalists and white supremacists were known to gather and live off the grid. I thought it might be interesting to ride through that region, so I picked a dot on the map with the crossed flag symbol of an international frontier and went for it. Even the most innocent person feels nervous before a border crossing, and the closer I got to this one, the more I thought of possible sources of hassle. Before setting out, I had asked Sheila to get me a set of credit cards under an alias, John Elwood Taylor, a fine bluesman name, I thought, made up of Jackie's last name, my own middle name, and the most ordinary of given names, to help preserve my anonymity in motels, restaurants, and gas stations. To a law enforcement mentality, I imagined those might appear suspicious. Plus, I carried a few emergency sedatives in case I got stuck somewhere, under a prescription Dr. Jeanette had written for me back in Vancouver, and she had discreetly written it under the alias, so that could be a problem too. Just before the small building which housed the United States Customs and Immigration Facility, I stopped to remove my earplugs, then rode up under the overhang and turned off the engine. A uniform with a hangdog face leaned toward me and asked if I had anything to declare, and when I said 2 cartons of Canadian cigarettes, he directed me to pull over on the other side of the building. Inside, a younger, deadly serious officer informed me that they had had incidents of hostage-taking, and he ordered me, in a stern, militaristic tone, to remove my jacket slowly and empty all my pockets. He was suspicious of the little plastic tube for my earplugs and a dry-cleaning receipt. Then he said, "Pull your shirt tight and turn around to show me that you're not carrying a weapon." "Okay, sit down over there, and don't get up or move around unless instructed by an officer. I am now going to inspect your vehicle." Intimidated? I guess I was. Ordinarily, when submitting to any such inspection at any border crossing in the world, I would demand to be present, but I was so shocked by this level of paranoia, I just sat there nervously and worried about what he was going to find. A few minutes later, he came in holding my wallet in his white search gloves and demanded that I verify its contents. Then, 10 long minutes later, he returned, stripped off the gloves, and charged me $2.40 for excess cigarettes. Man. Later, I would note, "Nice day, until fascist border crossing."